Good morning. I'm John Adams, and it is a great privilege to have the opportunity to speak with you this week. Yesterday was a very special day for me, my family, and our supporters all across the Commonwealth. While we were down in Norfolk between some campaign events, I was notified that I had secured the Republican nomination for Attorney General of Virginia. It was special for me for a few separate reasons. First, I'm not a politician. I've never sought any public office before in my life, but I've spent much of my life in public service. After growing up here in Chesterfield County and graduating from Midlothian High School, I attended the Virginia Military Institute. After graduation, I received my commission as a United States Naval Officer. I served first in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, deploying to the Persian Gulf. My second assignment brought me back home to Virginia, where I was on a coastal patrol ship based out of Little Creek, Virginia. From there, I deployed to Central and South America, where we conducted counter-narcotics operations and worked to keep drugs out of the United States. Following my naval service, I went to law school at the University of Virginia. Following graduation, I moved to Arlington, where I clerked for 2 federal judges, including Associate Justice Clarence Thomas on the United States Supreme Court. I then spent time as Associate White House Counsel for President George W. Bush. My wife Lisa and I then moved back home to Central Virginia to raise our growing family. I served as an Assistant United States Attorney, prosecuting cases ranging from violent crime and drugs to fraud and public corruption. In 2010, I left public service and joined the law firm of McGuire Woods here in Richmond. I am very happy being in private practice, and Lisa and I are raising our 4 boys very happily here in Chesterfield County. So after 43 years without being involved in politics, you may wonder why I jumped into the arena. The answer is simple. I am running for Attorney General because I believe the citizens of Virginia have the right to govern themselves the way they see fit. When the citizens of Virginia, through their elected representatives, pass laws, they deserve to have those laws defended and enforced by their Attorney General. But time and time again, our current Attorney General has shown that when he has a different political preference than the laws the people have passed, he is willing to use our Attorney General's office to pursue his own agenda. But don't take my word for it. One of the state's largest newspapers has referred to Mark Herring as our, quote, sometimes Attorney General. That is because he simply picks and chooses what laws he will defend when our Commonwealth and our laws are challenged in court. For example, he recently refused to defend our voter ID law, and the state had to hire a private law firm to defend it, expending hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars to do so. And the law was upheld in both district and appellate courts. On the Second Amendment, at the urging of groups outside the Commonwealth of Virginia, he issued an opinion regarding the reciprocity standards as they relate to Virginia's concealed carry permit holders. The effect of the opinion was to trigger an obscure provision of state law and arguably eliminate concealed carry reciprocity. Now look, folks, I believe we need to enforce our gun laws and keep them out of the hands of criminals and those who are mentally ill. But targeting people who obtained a concealed carry permit, arguably some of the most responsible and law-abiding citizens we have, was simply to pursue a political agenda. Again, don't take my word for it. During the next legislative session, even Governor McAuliffe supported overruling Herring's opinion and reversed him. And on an issue fundamental to Virginia's economic growth, Herring has pursued his own agenda as well. Virginia is a right-to-work state. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our state law. Employers, businesses rely on that law to make decisions to locate or expand in Virginia, among many other things. But our Attorney General, Mark Herring, filed a brief in the Supreme Court opposing right-to-work laws in a case that arose in another state and had nothing to do with Virginia. Finally, the Associated Press recently reported that Herring used funds from an asset forfeiture related to a case against a large pharmaceutical company to give pay raises to certain lawyers in his office. Now, I know a lot of lawyers in the Attorney General's office. They are hardworking public servants, and they almost certainly deserve a pay raise. But the dangers of allowing a government agency to use asset forfeiture funds to give raises to employees are well known, which is why regulations exist to prevent exactly this behavior. These backdoor pay raises came at a time when other state employees were not getting raises, and our Virginia State Police were desperately seeking a pay increase to aid them in recruiting new troopers. When I am your Attorney General, I will restore the office to its proper role as a law firm for the Commonwealth. It will be an office that respects the will of the people and defends the laws the people pass through their elected representatives. It will be an office that provides fair, consistent, and objective legal advice to all government officials throughout the Commonwealth, regardless of whether they are Democrats or Republicans. It will be an office that stands for true equality in the enforcement of our laws and a robust defense of the rule of law. In addition, I will draw on my experience as a federal prosecutor and my relationships throughout federal and state government to tackle our heroin and opioid crisis. This crisis is tearing families apart, and as Attorney General, I will fight to stop the influx of heroin and other drugs. And for those of our fellow citizens who are already addicted, I'll work to improve treatment and rehabilitation options. With rising violent crime in our cities, my office will employ every tool available to combat violent crime, and in particular, gang violence. I have prosecuted cases before, and I know how to work with law enforcement to get the job done efficiently, effectively, and justly. Ladies and gentlemen, I was born and raised here in Virginia. I was educated here from elementary through law school. I love the Commonwealth of Virginia with all my heart, and I will work every day to defend the sovereignty of the Commonwealth of Virginia and your ability to govern yourself the way you see fit. And I will work tirelessly to keep our families and our communities safe. It is very humbling to be the nominee of the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln and Reagan, the party of freedom and the party of individual liberty, a party that respects our fellow citizens' right to govern themselves in the manner they choose. I look forward to getting to know all of you across the Commonwealth even better in the coming days and weeks. I'm John Adams, and on behalf of Republicans all across Virginia, thank you for watching and have a great weekend.